Older Melania's. It's not in this magazine, but it's coming out soon. Would you like to hear Melania's 25 things you didn't know about? Okay. 25 things you didn't know about Melania. In Slovenia, I was a catalog model, which is what you call a model you order out of a catalog. I have no first language. I hope I inspire little girls everywhere to marry for money. Oh, that's...
Every Trump scandal is a spark for Bill Maher's fire. But when Melania steps into the picture, the roast turns explosive. From Epstein whispers and shady money trails to Chicago turmoil, laughable big, beautiful bills, and National Guard blunders, Maher piles it all into one blazing bonfire. His cutting humor tears away the glossy facade, exposing the absurdity beneath. Side by side, Trump and Melania morph into living caricatures of excess and delusion, the perfect targets for Maher's volcanic punchlines.
Just let them pass like a cloud. Well, maybe that's what we should do with some of Trump's stupid stuff. He took a 747 as a gift? That's not cool. Oh, well. The top military guy is a big drunk? Well, so is Ulysses S. Grant. Maybe it'll work out like that. He's naming the Kennedy Center after... Wait, what? He's naming the Kennedy Center after his wife? That's kind of sweet.
Maher doesn't flinch when it comes to skewering the Epstein connection, pointing out how Trump's denials only make the shadows darker. Each time Trump insists he barely knew the guy, the contradictions stack higher than Mar-a-Lago's gilded ceilings. Maher casts him as the man at a crime scene, claiming he just passed through, while standing there with fingerprints all over the evidence. The irony cuts deep. Trump is forever tripped up by his own trail of photos, quotes, and associations that shred his every denial.
Trump says, "Hey, waitress, how'd you like to pay no tax on those tips?" Remember that? And everybody was like, "Why didn't we think of that?" Las Vegas is a town where everybody gets tips, so maybe that's why Trump was the first Republican to win Nevada in 20 years. You know by how much? 50.59%. Because napalm in the morning smells like...
Maher tears into Melania's carefully polished silence, turning it into a satirical bullseye. He mocks the way she floats between aloofness and complicity, ever saying enough to defend herself, yet never stepping far enough away from her husband's chaos to escape it. Maher cracks that her strategic invisibility might actually be the most effective Trump tactic of all, though it still can't shield her from the collateral damage.
My husband, I'm reminded of the Slovenian national dish. a fat, greasy sausage filled with cheese. No. I once caught Mike Pence trying on my stilettos. Well, it's... My Secret Service codename is That Poor, Poor Woman. And he gave me a bunch of hats, but he didn't ask me to take a picture in one, which I appreciated. The guy I met is not the person who the night before the dinner shit-tweeted a bunch of nasty crap about how he thought this dinner was a bad idea and what a deranged asshole I was. I read it and thought, oh, what a lovely way to welcome someone to your...
Maher zeroes in on the Chicago fiasco as his next weapon. Trump's bid to showcase strength by flooding the city with force looked less like leadership and more like dictator. Cosplay gone off script. The streets turned into a stage set, with Trump casting soldiers as background extras in his flailing production. Maher skewers the absurdity, pointing out how every overreach meant to prove control only spotlighted how little he actually had.
Trump never forgets. It's only hypocrisy if you had other beliefs to begin with. In his first term, he signed an executive order banning TikTok and then got trounced by young voters. So in 24, he campaigned on saving it. And apparently every Tide Pod eater responded.
Melania re-enters the spotlight not for policy, but for optics. Maher skewers her half-hearted crisis gestures, mocking how they always feel staged by a bored PR intern. From robotic hospital visits to cookie-cutter speeches, he frames her appearances as product placements, not acts of compassion. In Maher's hands, she becomes less First Lady and more reluctant co-star in her husband's endless political soap opera.
In his first term, he called cryptocurrency not money and based on thin air, and said it seems like a scam. And who better to know a scam? Well, well, that was then. Now he's on more coins than Julius Caesar. Overnight, he became the crypto candidate as opposed to Biden, the crypt keeper candidate.
Maher turns to Trump's so-called big, beautiful bills, a phrase so empty it practically parodies itself. He ridicules how legislation, in Trump's hands, feels more like a real estate ad than governing judged by branding, not substance. Melania's pet projects get the same treatment. Glossy campaigns that evaporate as soon as the cameras leave. Be Best becomes a running joke, a hollow slogan adrift in the chaos. Then Maher drives the knife deeper with the National Guard fiasco. Blasting Trump's obsession with using troops as campaign props. To Maher, it's the perfect picture of a man so consumed with optics, he forgets the people behind them.
He laughs. I've never seen him laugh in public, but he does, including at himself. And it's not fake. Believe me, as a comedian of 40 years, I know a fake laugh when I hear it. Because he was showing me the portraits of presidents, and he pointed to Reagan and said, in all seriousness, you know, the best thing about him, his hair.
Melania gets pulled into the critique, too. Maher highlights her role in choreographed photo ops, smiling stiffly beside Trump as if rehearsing patriotism for a glossy magazine spread. The contrast is brutal: Trump turning troops into props, while Melania perfects her staged poses. Neither comes off as innocent. Both are complicit. Then Epstein re-emerges, tied to Trump's Houdini-like escapes from accountability. And Maher mocks how Melania never acknowledges the storm clouds, choosing silence while tabloids rage. Together, they come off as masters of avoidance, clinging to the act while the whole circus burns down around them.
I copied this list from Michelle Obama. Well, sometimes when I bounce light off my diamond, Donald's hair will chase it like a cat. I wish I knew why I have a recurring dream I'm pinned beneath a giant orange sack of shit. And if I could tell my younger self just one thing, it would be this. If you catch a leprechaun and he gives you one wish, be more specific.
Maher unleashes his venom on Trump's contradictions. The self-proclaimed champion of order who feeds on chaos. The loyalty-demanding leader who discards allies without hesitation. The problem solver whose solutions collapse the moment they meet reality. Melania's silence, too, becomes its own contradiction. First Lady seeking sympathy while refusing to confront the corruption at her side. Together, they form a duet of hypocrisy, a tragic comedy of power and pretense. Maher ridicules their obsession with optics, portraying Trump's presidency as a reality show that long ago ran out of plot. Every scandal becomes a new season. Every photo op, a desperate attempt to keep the show alive. With Melania's stiff cameos reduced to filler scenes,